I came on here to share something that really struck me today, and I'd like to talk about it. There's this saying, criticize in private and praise in public. It got me thinking, and I'm asking why. Fundamentally, everybody has some sort of desire to be accepted by other people. Whether we admit it or not, we all want other people to see us as successful, as well behaved, etc. A leadership advice or managerial advice, as the case may be, is that when your team member does something that is considered wrong, instead of criticizing them in the presence of other people, take them aside and talk to them in person. And while doing that, do not address them as faulty or as the ones who are mistaken in terms of being the mistake, but address the situation at hand and make sure you are clear in delineating between the person who made the mistake and the mistake that was made. It got me asking myself, so what is this whole deal about self-acceptance? Why do we want to be accepted? Today you probably hear some advice that, hey, don't bother what other people think about you, live for yourself, etc. I think it's a little bit of hogwash. Even people who are very self-confident and have a very high sense of self-esteem, some way, somehow rely on how other people think about them to judge their own self of esteem. Now, I'll explain what I mean. They don't rely on it to believe whether they are accepted or they are worthy or not, but they measure their behavior with respect to what is socially acceptable or at least acceptable amongst a group of people to know that, okay, fine, I am on the right path. What I mean in clearer terms is that for a Christian, what is acceptable for a Christian is things that align with the Christian standards. So at least there's some frame of reference. A Christian would not want to marry more than one wife, for example. But there are cultures where it is totally fine to have more than one spouse. In actual fact, in the Christian Bible, in the Old Testament, people like the king were allowed to have more than one wife, and some of them had multiple concubines, etc. And that was permitted. But now, in the same Bible, after the death of Jesus, it's no longer looked nicely upon and it's quite forbidden because it's one man, one wife. The point there is that for everyone who claims to be a Christian, what is acceptable to the Christian community per se, now of course to God, but in this case, the Christian community is what would determine whether their conscience feels right or wrong. I remember growing up, I was brought up in certain denominations where wearing certain types of dresses were wrong, where you felt sometimes guilty for drinking or felt guilty for doing certain things that today now seem to be normal, seem to be okay. Everybody accepts it. And the question is, what has fundamentally changed between 12, 13 years ago and now? That 12 years ago, if I did the same thing, I'll feel very guilty. I'll ask God for forgiveness. Versus now, I do the same thing. I know that it's okay, it's normal. Have standards changed? I think the thing is that what I consider to be acceptable has evolved. And so I no longer feel guilty for doing things that I used to feel guilty for before. And now, of course, those ones were ignorant, but based on ignorance, right? So it's not like as if I'm doing bad things or wrong things today. The question will be, what do you consider wrong, isn't it? The point I'm trying to make with this video is that everyone seeks some sort of acceptance. And if you wanted to really connect with other people, show them that you accept them. You may not accept the behaviors that they have in terms of vices, etc., but show people that you accept them and that you love them. Love is thrown around a lot these days, but I think one of the core meanings of love is accepting other people, accepting other people to show that they are valued and you like them to be part of what we all share in this humanity. You want them to feel like valuable members of it. Again, not condoning bad behavior or not asking you to accept what you consider unacceptable. The point is, people are different from what they do many times. And if you're able to put that distinction between how you treat people versus how you respond to what they do, it will go a long way in improving your relationships. So this isn't just this filled my mind today, and I like to talk about it. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you another day.